I want you to share with us whether it's the most challenging moments. You mentioned 3 times you were shot at, and that translates the lessons learned there. But in today's challenging environment, where we're being pulled in so many different directions, there's chaos, there is no normal, there is no new normal, there's a lot of turbulence, a lot of disruptions. How do you access peak performance? How do you attain that in this kind of highly competitive environment?
I think it really has to do with.
And again, that was a big word salad. So clean me up one more time, Coach.
Yeah, I'm connected with it. I'm kind of processing it, but I'm reflecting on it in my own life because I think you're only tested. Your commitment, your mindset of excellence, your courage is only tested when fear strikes, when you're kicked in the gut, when your test results are positive, when you lose the sale, when the divorce paperwork gets signed, when your kids are diagnosed with an autoimmune disease or whatever it is. How you respond to that is truly going to determine your ability to be a peak performer. And this is why a lot of what I'm doing now, and I've been speaking 21 years, but just in the last couple of years, I'm going more into my struggles with claustrophobia and panic attacks as a fighter pilot. I don't know if you ever got that from some of my content.
A lot. The irony is you're in a very small contained environment. I don't know if you noticed that as a fighter pilot.
Yeah.
And you have claustrophobia, and in combat, you almost ejected because you were having a panic attack, and it's very real.
And so how you perform through that fear and still accomplish the mission. Everybody in combat was afraid. We were all afraid. But how you deal with that fear and still take the next step and still perform. I'm not talking about theoretical fear here. I'm not talking about, there's pressure on me because I'm the first pilot doing this, or I may be judged, or what. I'm talking about missiles coming at you and being in a cockpit for 6 or 7 hours over Iraq, and then suddenly I got to get the heck out of this plane. I'm freaking out right now. How do I control myself and do my damn job and still understand that others are depending on you to do that job? And so when I went through my struggles with claustrophobia, we could talk about this for 6 hours on end. It humbled me to realize that resilience and your ability to focus and get the job done, despite that fear, despite the panic, despite the heart pounding, despite the possibility that you may fail, that you may die, that you may lose. That is where the test is. And so what I teach my son, what I teach my peers and friends, what I'm teaching myself every single day is to get comfortable going through that struggle, that anxiety and pain, getting used to it, and then still operating through that. And at first it's going to be tough. You're going to struggle. You're going to want to quit. You may fail in that process, but the more you do it and expose yourself to these anxieties and panics and failures, the more you're able to take that risk and continue to strap in and face those panic attacks and issues in life. And thus the confidence comes. And then when the confidence comes, you're willing to take more risks. You're willing to be more courageous. But in order to do that, your skills need to also develop. So it pushes you to ask for help, to read the book, to do the fitness routines, to participate in the protocols that will allow you to be a peak performer from the head to the heart and to the hands where you're doing your skills. So operating through those environments is key. And one of the keys, and I know we have limited time here, is really distracting yourself from yourself when you're having these moments of fear and panic. And in combat, when I was flying and I was like, I got to get the heck out of this plane. As soon as I distracted myself and focused on my team, the folks that I was flying with, checking their six, their blind spots, realizing that I was important to them, that I was needed, suddenly I no longer was focused on me, which is where anxiety and panic come, which I was able to bleed it out and realize the higher calling in life, service and love allowed me to be present and give my gift, which is to help others. And when you're doing that, you're in flow, you're in the zone. Fear isn't a factor. It may kick you in the gut when you land the plane and hit the bar or grab some breakfast after that 7 or 8 hour mission. But in that moment, connecting with others and knowing that others are there for you, it'll keep you in the jet, keep you flying, helping you take that next step in whatever it is that you're pursuing.
Yeah. And I think, coming full circle, service and love if you're grounded, and as an airman, you don't like to be grounded, but if you're anchored and if you're being sourced from that service and love, then I think naturally, obviously there's some nuts and bolts to it, but you become that person that people count on, that we talked about at the top of the podcast, and people seek out for partnership, collaboration, leadership, teamwork, counsel, advice, somebody to lean on. And I think, it's clearly embedded in your DNA